Yeah. So again, I was saying, where's the end zone? Where's the field post? How do we close the gap from where we at right now to where we want to go? We got to start with the youth and the children. Start training them and teaching them and the skills, and then they'll start developing the apps and the platform and the algorithm, right? Because another question you asked about is how do we make our own algorithms? Once we have control over the platform and the app, then we can set an algorithm that'd be more positive, right? And instead of running some messed up Cocomelon algorithm on it, we can run something more positive that we know, be more better for their growth and development, right? Because that's what it comes down to. Tie back into another question you asked me about, and this is a good segue to talk about TikTok.
Okay.
So there's a great infographic you can find on the internet, and it shows you that during COVID, when the school shut down and all the kids is at home, it shows you what are the top search results for students in America on the left side. It shows you what are the top search results on TikTok for students in China. And you can see the number one thing kids is looking for was games, and they asked them what's like the number one job you want to be, and it was like a social media influencer. When you look at China, the number one thing they were searching for was how do I get answers for the 5th grade math test or some math thing, and the number one answer is they want to be an astronaut for their occupation. China has a policy nationwide where they say anybody that's a app developer, especially things for children, it has to, this is a Chinese policy the government has instituted, that it has to help promote the growth and development and the mental health of the children. They also say that anybody under 16, I think they can only spend a certain amount of time, or 3 hours or something like that on social media, and it automatically cuts off.
America eats its babies.
Yeah. There you go, America eats babies. So again, there's no policy in America, and why is that? Because of the influence and the power.
Right.
I mean, the
babies in peace. They don't.
They just feed it right. They just feed. Oh, what is it? Our lesson is, stick a needle in his head or feed him to some wild beasts, right? That's what we do with the social media.
They are really, I tell
the greed is the problem. It's overriding it. It's overriding their conscience. The greed. The politicians is just like the corporations is making money, and then they financing the campaign funding for the politicians. Politicians like, I need money to rerun for Congress so I can stay in office because I'm a career politician. This is my job. I'm just staying in office as long as I can and keep sucking from the nipple of the cow because I'm living off the land of milk and honey being a politician, right? Everything is good. So that's the problem. Like, how do you disrupt that ecosystem and that greed? I mean, like I said, it's greed on both sides. They really don't care. And listen, all they do is like, I'm gonna take care of my family and make sure my children is good, and they're not getting impacted by the healthy or harmful effects. Because when you watch interviews, I can't remember which, I think it was the CEO of TikTok in America, or one of them, they asked him, does your child use it? He said, no, I don't let my child, I don't let my child use that media thing like that. So they know it. They don't let their own children use it. But hey, so long as I'm making money.
That's like the Korean selling fake Chinese food. They don't eat the Chinese food. They sell it and they Korean, but they say
the Korean, they do Chinese.
Because this is America and these niggas is fake.
It's all about money, man.
They like bootleg bags. It's like this ain't like whatever.
Korean.
Oh yeah. So for the
they can't even spell Korean, nigga. You just say with Chinese and they'll buy it. Trust me. He be like, and they'll joke and they say like at the time Bruce Lee, right?
Yeah.
He was bad influential. He wasn't half Korean. He was Chinese.
Yeah.
So they say look, we're not gonna tell them what the fuck we are. All we're gonna do is just we're gonna sell this pork. We're gonna sell this squirrel fried rice, and we're gonna tell them it's pork fried rice. All right. And they be like, they act like they too good. At back home, we was eating squirrels. Our squirrels are good. They come out the mountain. So they in their head thinking everything's everything.
Right.
They think everything is everything.
True.
And so they have no problem selling us some shit like that.
Right.
I'm saying America ain't got no. You see, you motherfuckers. They say y'all not a civilization. Y'all corporation. Y'all never stick together. You know what I'm saying? We gotta be a civilization. That's the only way we gonna live.
There's some more things to build on with that TikTok thing, though. So, all right. So that's one thing, right? Starting from that standpoint, both countries have different national interests and policies on protecting the growth and development of their children. Where China says we got a policy, whereas we not having it. As a social media company, you can't do this. Not only that, we're not even allowing the children to use it for so many times. In the U.S., it's free reign, right? We ain't got no policies. Then, going back to what we was talking about earlier, you got to think about the asymmetric warfare. Now you got to go back and look at old Chinese warfare literature. And I'm trying to remember the name of the book. There's a book written by two. No. two Chinese generals is like written in the 80s or 90s, but what they talk about is warfare against the U.S. And they have like a list of 10 or 12 things that they talk about doing. One is to flood the streets of America with drugs. Look at the synthetics. And where's all that stuff made? The like the stuff that's going into marijuana, synthetic marijuana, the K2, and even with the drugs, right? The meth stuff. I can't think of what it's called.
Fentanyl.
Fentanyl. Where's that stuff manufactured at?
Most of I know the K2 was the Chinese.
Right, the Chinese, right, exactly.
To the,
to the Mexican cartels, right? So,
yes.
so that's going back to that strategic playbook, which is asymmetric warfare. It might be the name of it, asymmetric warfare. If you go to Wikipedia, it's on Wikipedia. It's like, I forgot exactly what it's called, but I'll get it to you. But anyway, it's like just if you type it, you know what? Just go to Google Chinese asymmetric warfare, and you'll find the joint. And it has the whole book written by these two Chinese generals. The other thing is psychological warfare. So there's people from the U.S. government. There was a retired general. He was on some podcast. There's like a old army good old boys YouTube channel, and the general's on there, a retired U.S. general. He says TikTok is a psychological operation, and I'm quoting what they're saying. So this is not me saying this. I'm just quoting what they're saying. But when you look at it, you got to ask yourself the question: yeah, is the Chinese really doing that? They really want to mess up? Because think about this: China's in competition with the U.S. economically. So do we want the youth of America to be concerned about being astronauts, or we want them to be social influencers and coming up with the latest dance, and then more preoccupied with doing that? Not only that, so now our people got more competitive edge as far as our students, and now we can outcompete and have a competitive edge against the U.S. So there's that thing. What was the other thing I was going to say? There's a couple of things about TikTok. Oh, but also here's the problem. China has a policy also where any technology company that's doing business in China or with China, you have to make all your data available at any time, right? Because they're a social communist country. So we talk about how our data is being sucked up. You got even less rights to privacy or what you do in a child. At least there's two sides to the sword here, right? The positive and negative.
No one needs to hear this. Right?
On one side, they're saying we want to protect the health, the mental health, and the growth and development of our children. But on the other side, they're saying at any time, the Chinese government can request data from your data servers, and you have to make it available. And that's part of the concern from the U.S. government, is that TikTok is sucking up all this data on U.S. persons, and by nature, because TikTok is a Chinese-owned company, they have to make that data available to the Chinese government. So that's the argument that the U.S. government is making, especially if they want to target people and maybe embarrass. Let's say, for example, you're running for Congress, and like you're saying, your grandmother might have been doing something on TikTok. She got you tagged on her. You in the background, and now they use it and they take your whole campaign. So you got to think about stuff like that. So that's another thing that the U.S. government got worries about. Because there's all types of stuff that people post and they don't have any consciousness about what they're doing.
Right. And they be like, "Listen, we gonna own that."
They think it's funny and cool, just so they can get some likes. And that's a whole nother bill.
You must do your own research, as I did.
If Mega did this.